Hi, I'm Rylee Alazraqui, and I play Rok-tahk on the show Star Trek Prodigy, and I'm here on the Traversing the Stars podcast.
Hi, Miss Alazraqui. Thank you so much for coming to Versus Stars podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, my pleasure. I'm a big fan of Star Trek Prodigy, and so is my wife. We were literally just watching season two today. So, thank you
Oh,
so much for being on the show.
yeah, of course. Thank you.
So, I will start off with a question of inspiration. So, inspired your love for acting and who your earliest influences.
Um, who inspired my love for acting was probably my dad because I kind of started acting when I was little and I looked up to him. So he was also probably one of my greatest influences because I listened to him about how to act and how I should say lines on auditions. And he definitely helped me get to where I am today. And he's definitely one of the biggest influences in acting and everything because he's just so talented at what he does. And I want to be just as good as him someday. So he's definitely one of my greatest influences.
So, what is the best advice your father then gave you about acting?
Probably just showing me how to say lines and deliver and get into character. He definitely has helped me with my lines a bunch. And like on a certain accent that I have to do, like a British accent, he helped me a lot with that. The best advice is just being myself and getting into character and helping me just voice it the right way. I don't know, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you're young and you're already in a huge Star Trek franchise. So, congratulations on that. Obviously, your father gave you good advice because it's working for you. So now you play Rok-tahk on Star Trek Prodigy, which is in the second season. So how do you get involved with the series?
I got an audition for the show. It was just like a normal audition for me. I was like, okay. So I went in, I did it, and surprisingly, I got it. It was just one of those lucky things. And I went in, I knew nothing about Star Trek. When I was little, I never really watched Star Wars or Star Trek. I never really watched that. So it was very new. And it was my first time hearing about Star Trek. And now it's so cool to be in this like whole world and like the knowledge of it. And I didn't know anything before. So it was very new for me, but now I'm here and I know a lot more about it. And it's really cool. I like the Star Trek world and universe.
Now, when you were auditioning for Star Trek, so I know sometimes when they give you the sides to audition with, they don't always tell you what the project actually is.
Yeah.
You know it was Star Trek when you were auditioning for it and you knew what character you're playing, or was it a total surprise?
So I actually didn't really know. I don't think they told us. I think I had dummy sides, and I think it was like this basketball game. And I'm not really sure because I was so young, but it was not for Star Trek, and I didn't know it was for Star Trek yet. They did give me dummy sides. So it was surprising to see that it was Star Trek when I got the call back and, started going into the studio and stuff like that.
That is weird to go from basketball to Star Trek. They seem like totally different genres and entities that I can't even see how they thought that was close to being the same. So,
Um,
can you take us back to when you found out that you got the part?
yeah. When I found out I got the part, I was really surprised because when I went to some callback or something like that, I actually saw an actress who I recognized and I was like, "Oh gosh, I have no shot of getting this. Like I know her from that show. How am I going to get this?" And so when I got it, I was very surprised. I was like, cuz when I was little, I didn't really book that much, maybe a few commercials, stuff like that, little parts on shows. So it was really like okay, I got a big part and I'm kind of like a main character. So it was really exciting when I found out. And I was super excited to go into the studio for the first time and record. And it was really like, I was really happy knowing that I got it out of everybody. And it made me feel good about myself.
Now, when you say you went to the studio to record, are you recording with any of the other cast members, or are you doing it in a studio by yourself?
I never have recorded with anyone else. During the pandemic, I recorded at home, which was, I mean, it was crazy. We have a booth in my garage, and back then in the pandemic, we didn't have like AC or like a cooling system. So I just remember it would be so hot, and then I would take little breaks in between each pod or each like recording, and then Kevin and Dan and everybody, they would let me jump in my pool to cool off and then come back and keep recording. So I always recorded by myself. It's hard because sometimes it's hard to get into the feel of it
Hmm.
because people they're not next to you. But Kevin and Dan do, and everybody do a great job on getting you in the scene and showing you clips. And sometimes they'll even play like the other people's lines so I can like know. But yeah, I've never recorded with anybody else.
That's crazy. I mean, because once again, everything you hear about acting, that acting they say is reacting. You're playing off somebody else, but you're
Mhm.
playing off, I guess, your imagination of what someone else performed.
Yeah. Hmm.
How that must be extremely difficult, and it must take a lot of creativity and imagination to put yourself in that moment when you're in a, what you said, a garage, trying to do your part.
Yeah, no, it was hard, especially since I was so little. I really had to just get into the imagination and yeah, but definitely they did play back a lot of their stuff, so that definitely helped me a lot.
So when you found out you got the part of Rok-tahk, for viewers who might not know, Rok-tahk is this big rocky alien in Star Trek Prodigy. What did they tell you about Rok-tahk when you got the role?
So they actually showed me a photo of her. So first they told me that she was this big rock monster, and then there was a little girl in the body. And so I remember when I was little, I was like picturing about like how she would look. I thought she was gonna have like a dress on and a little bow. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was really cool to see the picture for the first time. They showed me the first ever recording session in the studio, and it was just rock talking. It was so like cool to see her because it was just this huge like rock monster in overalls, and it was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, that was my first time like really hearing about the character and seeing it. And it was really cool to put the voice to the character. It was amazing.
So once again, you're playing this, like you said, this big rock creature with a little girl inside the body. How did you get the voice down for what this character was going to sound like?
Honestly, I just did my own little 8-year-old girl voice, and I think I got it from there. And as I got older and recorded, I kind of cutesy my voice up a little bit. But then Rock has her moments where she is a little bit more deeper and intense. So it's honestly just my own voice in Rock's body, but in different ways and like different reactions and sounds that I make when I'm frustrated or happy. But it's really just my own voice in rock, which is really amazing.
So what did they tell you about Rok-tahk as a individual, and what do you find most interesting about the character?
They told me that she, was big and didn't really fit in with, the others. And they told me I found out about her backstory, obviously, as I went on with the show. But they really just told me that it was an 8-year-old girl's voice in this big rock creature. And as the recordings went by, it really showed me that, she has a love for animals and has a love for science and all that stuff. And she's really sweet and she cares about her friends and she's protective over them. And she always has a positive attitude. So as I worked on with the show, it really just inspired me, just how she acts and keeps her head held high, even when she is this big rock creature. So I think that's really cool that she loves all this stuff and she doesn't let how she looks stop her from that.
And there's so many great actors who are on the show. Kate McGrew, Robert Picard. These are Star Trek legends. Have you had a chance to meet them? I know you didn't record with them. Have you had a chance to meet them later?
I had a chance to meet Kate at the New York Comic-Con convention that we did, which was amazing. It was so cool to meet her. She's so sweet. I love working with her. I love meeting her, all that stuff. Um, who was the other one that you said?
Robert Picardo from season two. He's the hologram doctor.
Oh, I have not met him yet. Not yet, but hopefully soon.
Oh, did you say you went to a comic? Already went to the comic book convention? You've already done the whole signing at convention thing?
The convention thing, yes. When was that? 2022? Something like that. Oh yeah, I got to meet, all I remember was meeting Brett Kate, and I'm sure other people, but those were the two that I was most excited about meeting. And then I haven't, I've met Ella Purnell. She's amazing. I met her at a cast party. So it's really cool to meet the cast because I haven't seen them like ever. So it's really nice to meet them and talk with them. But yeah, definitely the big ones like Kate was amazing.
Is it you? I think you're the only child actor of the bunch, right? Everyone else is adult. Was that kind of weird, strange, cool?
It's kind of awkward sometimes because I just remember taking a group photo with everybody and everyone was kind of like a lot taller than me and just like socializing more and talking about things that I had no clue what they were talking about. But it's kind of also cool to be like the only child because I feel like special and I feel like I can keep up with everybody else and it kind of feels like cool that I'm on a show with all of them. Yeah, it's definitely it's something. It's cool.
When we went to the convention, you mean you were at the table signing autographs?
Uh, Not for the New York one. I did another one for a point convention where I signed, but this one, they kind of just showed the first episode of Star Trek, um, a panel, and then I got to talk with a microphone, and that was cool because I got to talk about it in front of a crowd, and it was scary, but it was really cool and fun. And everybody else on the cast was talking, so I kind of picked up from what they were saying and how they were acting in front of like the whole crowd of people. So I don't know, it was really cool and fun and new.
So what was it like when you got to sign your first autographs?
Gosh, so they went to my dad first and then they went to me. So I've seen my dad sign before. I was like, oh, I kind of wish that was me. So when it did happen, it was really cool meeting some people who liked the show. I practiced a lot when I was little on just like papers. I would doodle and just practice my autograph. But it was really cool getting to sign like pictures of myself and pictures of Rock. That was really cool.
I must admit, I actually don't know who your father is. I'm sorry. I felt like a.
Um, Carlos Alazraqui.
Oh, okay.
He's on Rocco's Modern Life, Fairly Odd Parents, Reno 911, just on camera and voiceover stuff.
So you got to tell you some advice on what to do, and from that many fans, right?
Yes, it was really cool. I kind of like watched him sign it and then I signed it. Yeah, stuff like
That's
that.
really cool. Um, the other cool thing about Rok-tahk, as you mentioned, she's a xenobiologist. She's obviously extremely smart, even though she looks kind of like a big brute type person. So, what did that tell you about like how to perform her character? And in season two, now that she's kind of like an upstanding member of Starfleet, how did that also maybe impact how you wanted to play her part?
Um, so I just remember about her science loving stuff. Uh, I wanted to play the part like I had a like desire to get better at science and I wanted to be good at science. So when they told me all of these lines, gosh, I just remember some of these science words were so hard for me. I would be saying the line over and over and over again. It was just it was crazy. Some of these words were so hard. And it's so cool that like Rock says them so casually and she knows them. So for her character, I wanted to kind of show off that I knew all this stuff and that I wanted to know all this cool stuff. So when I did the voicing for that, I kind of wanted to sound like professional when I said the words and just have that like love in my voice when I was talking about science.
Now, obviously for Star Trek, they call that the technobabble. We need to come say all the scientific things that are not probably real words, but they're supposed to be in Star Trek. When you're doing the technobabble, as you said, you got to sound like natural because Rok-tahk needs to sound like a super genius who can just like rattle this stuff off. Is
Yeah.
it difficult to learn your lines when this technobabble words are all throughout it?
So difficult. I would have, they were like these tongue twisters. It's so hard for me because I was so little when I was doing it and I had no clue what these words meant in the Star Trek universe. I would sound it out slowly. Um, I remember doing this. They would make me stick out my tongue and say my lines like that. And then I would have to say, I don't know, we had so many like techniques to get the line sound somewhat good. So it was really funny and it was cool to see all this Star Trek language like that.
And I think the other great thing about Rok-tahk, she's such a caring individual. Like her and Murph are such a good little team right there. What do you think that says about Rok-tahk that she has this great, compassionate personality, especially because when we got her backstory, she did not have a great upbringing. I mean, she had a kind of a rough upbringing. So what I say about her that she overcame that and became this great, caring, soulful individual.
I think that Rock really just always tries to have a positive attitude and look at the brighter side of the situation. And it really just shows me how like caring she is and how much effort she's willing to put into other people and to make other people happy, which is so sweet. And it really shows you that side of Rock that she's been through so much and she just continues to keep her head held high and has this love for all of her friends and crew and Murph and everybody. So it's really sweet to see how she just keeps a positive attitude like that.
Now, the cool thing is, while we're talking on the day when season two has premiered on Netflix, which is really cool. At least I got to watch. I watched the first four episodes so far with my wife because we wanted to see it on the first day. Um, what did you think about where they took the character from season one to season two?
We kind of grew up physically and mentally with Rock throughout season one. And now in season two, she has matured with science, with her knowledge, with all that stuff. And I think that's really cool. And I'm excited for everybody to see how she is in season two and what she learns and what she goes through. Uh, so, so yeah, it's really cool to see her discover new things and all that stuff.
And I mean, Star Trek Prodigy had such a wild ride. It was on Nickelodeon, then went over to Netflix, and then gets the second season. This must be a hell of a ride for you so far.
Yeah, I was really scared that it wouldn't find like a good platform when it got removed from Paramount Plus. I was like, oh gosh. So I remember always asking my mom, like, has it landed yet anywhere? And my mom would be like, not yet. We're working on it. They're working on it. So it was really, really exciting to find out that it landed on Netflix. I was so happy. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So I'm so glad that it finally like landed and it's on Netflix now.
And the cool thing is that Netflix is so much bigger than Paramount Plus too, so now it's even on a bigger platform.
Yeah, amazing. I'm so happy.
So, do you have a favorite episode that focuses on Rok-tahk so far that you think is the best or the one that best understands the character?
I would have to say probably Time of Month because you really just got to discover her love for everybody and she like saved the day and she was stuck longer than everybody else and you got to spend so much time with her and like learn how she copes with things and uh I think it was a really really good episode to understand Rock and how she works and how she thinks and how she feels. It was a very good episode for her. That one was a good episode. I remember recording that one. I was like, "Yay, get an episode for myself."
I think the other cool thing with season two is that they really have that she does seem so comfortable as a member of Starfleet. They really have made her of all the original Protostar crew, she seems to be the one that's working the best in Starfleet, and that's really cool with that character, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she knows a lot more knowledge than Jenkinpog, but she knows a lot more science stuff. But it's really cool to see her fit in with everybody else and kind of know all this stuff and show off to everybody that she does know that.
So, what can the listeners look forward to in season two? I mean, I know season two is technically out already, but for those who may not have completed the season, what kind of things can they look forward to in season two of Star Trek Prodigy?
You can definitely look forward to seeing her grow more mentally, physically, all that stuff. Her love for science, you can see a lot more what she does with that. You can look forward to all this stuff with her team and all the drama and what she has to go through and deal with. You could definitely look forward to the big thing is just science and being on Starfleet and having to deal with that and all these crazy things and seeing how she handles it with her friends.
Welcome to Star Trek fan base. Like I said, we're loving the show, so thank you so much. Miss Alazraqui, thank you. You've been a huge pleasure to talk with. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Traverse the Stars podcast. Please help me battle the algorithms by liking and subscribing. Be sure to turn on the next episode when Jeffrey Thorne aboard the Mothership discuss Green Lantern from DC Comics and Blood Syndicate from Milestone. Till next voyage, travel on.